And corresponding workshop is aimed at developers and those wanting to know more about dev aspects of Oracle database tech. Each page contains a number of items. Each page you see here is a task or page in the workshop, which is labeled with the task itself or the financial business process, the Oracle and open source tech used, and an external customer reference that is using this technology in almost all cases to perform the task that is described. But of course, in this application, it's greatly simplified from how it is used in that references use case. Each page of the app can be run by itself or in conjunction with other pages. In other words, the entire app is modular and is also a microservices architecture. Therefore, if you are only interested in a certain business process or technology, you can run any of these labs standalone once you've done the setup. The setup involves creating an Oracle database, either autonomous on the cloud or container versions, and can be run in Kubernetes or standalone. Each of these tasks consists of one or more microservices, and they can be run in Kubernetes or standalone. Each page contains a developer details button, which when clicked expands to show a walkthrough video corresponding to that page, code and workshop links, developer notes including differentiators and open source libraries, and links to corresponding backend dev tools such as Grafana, Jupyter, Graph Studio, etc. The pages also contain relevant code snippets on the right-hand side that change depending on the form options selected. These snippets are the key few lines of code that pertain to that particular page. However, of course, all of the code is available open source in GitHub for you to examine closer. Moving to the first lab, we look at the architecture and setup. As I say, each page links to the workshop and the source code. The workshop and the GitHub for the source code. Each directory roughly translates to one microservice or one setup, as in Kubernetes and SQL. This is the architecture of the workshop. This is the open source cloud native version, and there is also an Apex version which deals with financial tasks but is not the exact same as this workshop. These are the technologies, both Oracle open source and cloud native, including Kubernetes itself and various languages and products. And this is the entity diagram. As I say, each lab or task can be run by itself. However, all of the tasks share the same schema and entity. So the accounts table, for example, is shared by most, if not all, of the tasks in the application. Therefore, we can have a modular workshop, but also show the converged advantages of the Oracle database. As mentioned, each page has a click out to back-end tools. For the setup, we can click out to Cube View to see the topology of our Kubernetes cluster and microservices. For example, we see the financial front-end ingress pointing to our different MERN, globally distributed database, etc. microservices. It also clicks out to Grafana for observability And so there are a few dashboards that can be viewed, both of the Kubernetes microservices and the database. And this will be added to, as you see that Grafana was actually not live. We will be showing more in that, as well as this end-to-end tracing functionality into the database. This is the Publish Financial APIs page, which uses Oracle REST and OpenAPI. Here is a very simple example of how you can REST enable any objects or processes in the database. This is particularly popular in the financial industry for publishing APIs. We see here that we can do simple REST calls to retrieve data, as we do here for account information. Again, we can show the developer details with the walkthrough and notes as mentioned. The next task is showing the create and view accounts process, where we are using the MongoDB MERN stack with JSON duality. So as we see in the architecture, we have a React front end, and in this case we have the MERN stack. So we have React, Express, Node, and MongoDB. And what we show here is the fact that you can access the Oracle database using the MongoDB API. So we're simply creating and querying accounts, and we can dictate if we will use SQL or Mongo to do that against the Oracle database. And as you can see, the code on the right-hand side is changing depending on which API we use. However, the behavior of the insert and select is the same, whether we use Mongo or SQL APIs. The next lab is simply showing that Oracle database supports every language, and so we can do a insert into the database, an update of account values by using any language, and we see a quick code snippet of that. This is the transfer to external bank process page, which uses Oracle MicroTX and the lock-free reservations feature. This, like many features, is showing how simple and powerful these products and features are for developers. In this case, we have a Saga transaction where usually a developer needs to code complex compensation logic in order to keep journal entries, etc., during a transaction that involves multiple microservices. When using the lock-free reservations mechanism, we can see the code is drastically simplified. We can instigate crashes to see this behavior, and the fact that it is the same whether we are longhand coding it, which is a very error-prone and QA-intensive process, or using the automatic compensation data types that are available in the Oracle database. The next page we see is the purchases and detection of and visualization of fraud and anomalies. Here we are using a number of features. We are using the globally distributed database to insert purchases, and we are using OML and spatial in the Oracle database to detect anomalies and visualize data. So here we select an account. In the map, which is using OpenStreetMap's open source library, we right-click in two locations. If these locations are close and we submit the purchase, we see that no anomaly is detected. However, if they are far apart, we can see that an anomaly is detected, And that is because of the spatial calculation of the distance shows that it's too far apart to be considered, it's far enough apart where it seems like a suspicious transaction. On the right-hand side, we see how simple the code is. We simply have one option to automatically have the sharding managed by the infrastructure, by the globally distributed database infrastructure, or if we want to do our own key sharding. And so here we see if we want it automatically managed, we simply set this value of use sharding driver connection to true. Otherwise, we will create our own sharding keys, in this case based on the account ID. We also see that you can pop over to the Jupyter Notebook, and this can be running as a notebook right in OML, and using OML for Pi libraries in the Oracle database, where the notebook will be spun up as an execution environment, and we can do all the normal notebook operations. So we can make operations here that are reflected back on this application. So we are showing both the Jupyter backend notebook and the use of the open source OpenStreet library here, OpenStreetMaps. The next page is detecting money laundering, and that is using graph in the Oracle database. Here's a very simple example where we can click to generate transactions, and we are using the open source library Cytoscape here to render these transfers. And we can see after a period of time there are some circular patterns that would indicate money laundering. We can further drill down on. On the right hand side here we see how easy it is to create the graph, the Cytoscape code to plot the edges, and the fact that we can use any number of languages to work with the graph. We can also again look at the developer details and pop over to the Graph Studio. Here we see the various different prompts, how we can use SQL, Java PGX, etc. The next page involves the asset inventory management. This is using the Kafka API, which is compatible with the Oracle database, or the Oracle database is compatible with Kafka via transactional event queues. So a feature that this provides is the fact that messaging and database operations can be conducted in the same local transaction. So in the application, we can compare and contrast that by selecting an asset and an amount and doing a transfer. This involves two microservices, an order service and an inventory service. In this case, we're showing not just purchases, but inventory adjustments. And we can compare and contrast the use of Kafka with Mongo and Postgres with the use of Kafka with the Oracle database backed by transactional event queues. And we can also instigate crashes here. And what we'll see when we run these is what is indicated in the notes on the right-hand side here when we select the crash criteria. So selecting this, we can see that when there's a crash inventory in the inventory service, after inventory for an order is checked and before inventory status message is sent back to the order service, we will, in the case of Mongo and Postgres with Kafka, get duplicate messages that need to be handled and additional coding for that handling. And then we will see, because of the transactional nature of Oracle transactional event queues, even though we're still using the Kafka API, we don't need to write the extra code to handle this crash scenario. The next page involves the use of true cash in the stock ticker and buy sell stock scenario. Here we see that we are continuing to use SQL in our application. We do not need to use, for example, the Redis API. And without changing our application, we can use true cash in order to get the values for stock. And then we simply see in this ticker that if we buy stock, the value is updated. This next task is getting personal financial insights. This involves Oracle Database Vector Search, AI agents, and the use of MCP. This is giving you the option to ask questions. The default is advise as to my financial situation. These AI agents are wealth advisors, financial wealth advisors, and you can come over to the back end to see the agents in action. So if we come over to this page, we see a bit more detail on the agent architecture. We have a planning agent who's acting as an investment assistant. We have research agents, and then we have reasoning agents that draw a clear conclusion, and synthesis agents that will then produce, in our case, a text answer, but can also produce PDF reports, APIs, Jupyter notebooks, etc. So what we want to look closer at is the research agents, because they are the ones gathering the information. And in our case, they're gathering it from three locations. One is a vector search of compliance documents, which are vectorized PDFs. Another is private financial data in our database. And then finally, we go out to an MCP server that streams real-time financial information. This private financial data is the data that we've been collecting in the application itself. So when we've been purchasing stocks with the application and they seem like technical stocks, we've been buying something in the Kafka example, and that is real estate or something along those lines, etc. That will be taken into account along with PDF compliance and, as I say, the real-time financial data to get back suggestions. Of course, these are an example and not to be used in real life. Finally, we have a Speak with Your Financial Data Lab, and this uses Oracle Database Natural Language to SQL, which is also referred to as Select AI. Again, the Oracle Database Vector Search and the Speech AI service, either Oracle's OCI Speech AI or a multi-cloud speech AI engine such as Google. Here you can ask a question. The question is translated into SQL. Regular searches and vector searches are conducted on the private database information. That text answer is returned and converted into speech, and that speech is played back, and then optionally you can have an avatar that takes that speech, converts it to animation, and speaks the answer back to you. And this is part of an interactive AI holograms exhibit that we show at our Oracle conferences. And so that's a quick walkthrough of the application for financial services, which is developer focused and is the open source cloud native version.